Welcome to part 5 of the Sorcerer's Cove. You're going to hear some of my experiences now on San Pedro, on some dreaming, and whatever else I can squeeze into this time. So this is the last episode for the series, first series, so enjoy, man.
So I went to a place I call Little Amsterdam, a small town in the forest across the border from Queensland down into New South Wales. And I bought a foot of San Pedro Brigisi. And the woman at the shop told me that it was a pretty potent species, and this was my first time, so I went, oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Got home and prepared it, took a few hours to prepare, and had a little ceremony and drank it down, and all. It was some coarse shit, eh? So anyway, I had a bit of lemon and some water with it. It made it a bit easier to take because San Pedro and peyote, and that makes you purge, makes you spew. So 45 minutes into the experience, I started to feel this incredible charge in my body. So I walked outside and spent some time under the stars, and it kept coming in waves and getting more intense, and I just clenched my fists and everything. My whole body was just vibrating into a different phase. And that's when I met Tree Spirit. I tried to communicate with Tree Spirit at first a few times, but he was really standoffish, and he looked like a difference between a mixture of a cat and a bat. And eventually made a bit of communication, and then the messages just kept coming and coming. I'm thinking, oh, this is weird. They were weird messages, and it was like zigzag number 9, zigzag number 9, and I am 6, I am 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 all the time. I am 5, I am 6. And so, I didn't make much sense about it. That's fucking weird, eh? It's fun. So, anyway, later in my life, not much later, I started to figure out number 9 is my actual number in numerology and that. And so, I was zigzagging at that time in my life just through a whole lot of issues and managed to miss a few things and get a few things. But, anyway, you know, I'm growing my own now, and got my own little ally growing in the garden there. One day it'll be big and mature enough for me to start to endeavour again. But the thing is with San Pedro is that it's so different to LSD, because LSD, it's all internal. With San Pedro, everything else is tripping and you're walking through it. It's almost like dreaming. It's almost like you're sober the whole time. So very cool experience, and I'd suggest it to anyone. Just take it easy, but maybe a foot to a foot and a half is probably better. And good luck to you. That's my trip on San Pedro. Okay, this experience happened a little while ago. I went to bed and started my preparations as I normally do, and I started hearing a strange kind of buzzing in my ears. And then, for a moment there, I thought I was awake. I was laying in my bed and the TV was on like I was watching a movie, and then all of a sudden in front of me this massive tunnel opens up. And I start going up it. And it's just like like when you drive through a tunnel, just flashing lights overhead, you know, it's just orange and grey and white. And while I was going up, I thought, look at your hands, look at your hands. So I looked at, raised one of my hands and managed to do it. And that's when I saw the flashing lights going across my hands. And as soon as I did it, all of a sudden I was on this street. And I thought, a person who was my brother. And he said, I'm glad you could make it, man. You've been asleep for ages. I went, what? He goes, yeah, you've been asleep for ages. You had a car accident. You've been in a car crash. And you've been sleeping. I said, what? Really? Oh, okay. So I started to walk with him, and we got to this cave kind of place, and it was like a mole's hole in the ground. And I walked inside, and there was it's like a restaurant that went up on a big sort of looped curve up the hill. And when I was there, I saw these big dudes, like a bunch of metalhead dudes that with real long hair and real hairy arms. They were just huge. And I kind of looked at them, and only one of them looked at me. The rest kept their head down and they just left. I went, okay, I know who they are. So, anyway, I walked up and sat at this bench and with these two other fellas and my brother as well, who I thought was my brother. And we were sitting at the table for a little while, and I looked out of the back door and I saw this tree. And as I focused on the tree and thought about the tree, everything started to shift and just like a whoosh kind of sound. And I was standing on like a children's playground. And as I turned to look at that tree again, it was all kind of dark and shadowy, and the two other fellas that were at the table were with me as well, and also the person I believed was my brother. And he started to walk off, and as he began to walk away, he turned into a smaller and smaller child. And it was a child that I recognized from another dream. And when I looked at him, I went, I think I'm dreaming. And he kind of looked at me and gave him a bit of a smirk over his shoulder, and I went, I am fucking dreaming. And all of a sudden I had like a butter knife in my hand, and so I threw the butter knife at the ground. And as soon as I did that, there was that sound again. And I came back into my room and I saw myself on the bed. And it was just like maybe 1 second it lasted for, and then all of a sudden I was back in my body and I woke up gasping for breath. And I was like I was out of breath and stuff. So I woke up and I'm looking around and I'm going, oh, far out, that was intense. No, that was really intense. So I tried to go back into it again, and I just couldn't seem to do it. So I rolled over and I said to my partner Kim, I said, hey darling, I said, am I here? Like, is this here, you know? And she sort of rolled over and goes, oh yeah, whatever, and then just went back to sleep. And I went, oh fuck, thank Christ, you know, I'm fucking back. But the experience itself was the most amazing experience, and it was the first real full-on, well, I've had others, quite a number of others, but this was literally a full shift of the assemblage point into another world. And the fact that they were telling me that I'd been asleep and I'd been sleeping and was in a car accident was something that really I really had to think. And then when the realization came that I was dreaming and I threw that knife at the ground, it was almost like an anchor point that I used to bring myself back, perhaps. But I was actually there. It was as real as this world here. And the most amazing thing was, as you focus on any object and keep your attention on it, you can shift and move between worlds and other designations. So that is what the second gate of dreaming is. And it's more the ability to attain that goal. So keep up your dreaming practices if you do it, and you will achieve it. Like I said, this experience took me about 5 or 6 months to achieve. So all the best.
Well, that's the end of Series 1 or Episode 1 for now. So hope you enjoyed it. Pass it on to your friends, subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you later on.